Hello, hello, hello. Hello, TikTok. Hello, Facebook. Hello, Twitch. Hello, YouTube. Let me just find where my live chat is. Right over here. Okay. So I hope everybody had a good Friday. I have been running wild this Friday. My daughter had a little bit of a mishap, and while I was listening, first I said, okay, let me listen to the opening statements of Sarah Boone. Then I'll go back, and it was between Boone and Leilani, and Boone and Leilani, Boone and Leilani. Oh my gosh. I don't know why we have to always have all these trials. And then, of course, Delphi, all we can do is get updates and things on that. So, but my daughter had a bad fall, and I thought she broke both of her ankles today. So, yeah, that's been an eventful day. She had to go to her sports medicine doctor. They had to take her to the radiologist. They had to put her in a boot and some other thing, and she's on crutches while they await results. Just craziness. And I have Ethan's got a big day tomorrow. And it's just been one thing after another. So I feel like I've been mentally exhausted today with all the stuff. But okay. And then listening to these trials. And Leilani Simon trial, day 5. Okay. And today we heard from the babysitter, and it is actually the mother of the girl that testified yesterday. And she told us a lot about the kind of mother that Leilani Simon was, and it wasn't a good one. She was a crappy mom, and then she called her a shitey mom. She said that they loved Quentin, and they would take him whenever they could, and Quentin never wanted to leave. He would only be okay leaving if Danny was there to take him. He did not want to go with Leilani, and she would do very weird things, like she worked at Bojangles, the babysitter was saying, the babysitter / neighbor, and she would bring home food from Bojangles, and they said, like, Quentin loved food. So the babysitter said, like, one of the things he loved was macaroni and cheese, and he loved cheese, and he'd come to her house and he'd want cheese, and she had this block of cheese. She said he would eat the whole thing, if she let him, and then she even took him to Red Lobster and stuff like that. But Leilani would feed Zane, her oldest child, who apparently, according to almost everyone that's testified about this, that Leilani had he was her ride or die child, is what she said. She had a very strong bond with Zane that she didn't have with Quentin, and she should have just given the child up for adoption. She should have given the babysitter, and her family would have taken him in a heartbeat. She said that he would be brought over full of poop, smelling of sour milk, because he had sour milk in all the creases under his neck. They would have to bathe him. They told Leilani's mother that, look, she's bringing this kid over horrible, and we're going to need clothing. So she was given money to buy him clothing. She said she bought clothing and took pictures of it, and took pictures of the receipt and sent it back. And just that many nights, Quentin would spend the nights with them. And then she went over the day when Quentin went missing, and all about how she just didn't think Leilani was acting in a way that was normal, about the Bojangles. So she would feed Zane and make Quentin wait to eat, instead of just immediately, portioning it off to 2 plates. She would make him watch his brother Zane eat while he was crying for food, and then she would feed him. And the defense is like, yeah, but she fed him, right? So what did he have to wait? 10 minutes. Like, big deal. Okay. She was just cruel. She was cruel is what she was. And she seemed to get off being cruel to her kid. So that was, I think, the biggest testimony. They had some testimony about how, from the investigators, about her driving by the dumpsters in Azalea. But I'd say the biggest witness for today had to be the babysitter. That's how I feel. And we're not anywhere near done with this trial, so they'll be back on Monday. And Sarah Boone's opening statements, I'll tell you something, okay? If these courtrooms waited as long as they did to put this trial on, can you please understand your freaking mics aren't working? Do you know how aggravating it is to try to listen to an opening statement that you can barely hear? Just so aggravating. It makes me aggravated, hi cranky, that I don't even want to watch it. Okay? Because it's like, wait a second. Can you do a mic check? Or do you realize if you're not wearing a mic and you're walking around the room, they're not going to hear you? Like, you have all these sound people. Like, it's like in Leilani's trial, too. They have these sound guys sitting there. And meanwhile, some of the witnesses you can barely hear. It's barely audible when Danny first got on the stand. It was ridiculous. But, yeah, it's sad, cranky. But, why didn't they... I know she said people reported it to DFS and stuff. You just wish, in hindsight, they did a little bit more, right? It's crazy. Crazy. But Sarah Boone, okay, so the opening statement from the prosecution was no great shakes. I mean, here's the thing with Sarah Boone, okay? Those of us who have studied the case, we've gone over everything that's being shown in court now. All of the 911 calls, all the police cam video, all of this, all of that. So none of this is new to us. So it's not... it's not big revelations. Whereas in Leilani Simon, hearing from these babysitters and stuff that we never heard from, because I went over all of this stuff with Sarah Boone, all of that neighbor testimony. I have the whole discovery of this back in 2022. In June, end of June, July of 2022, we were going over every piece of this, remember? And so, yeah, I know all about the neighbors and what they said they heard and all of that. And I think a lot of you do too. So to me, it was rather boring. It really was. Today was rather boring. Their opening statements were nothing special. I didn't think either one was a really good storyteller or did something dynamic. But it takes a lot to impress me. I'll tell you, that guy in South Carolina that did it for the Tim Jones. What a man. He did those kids justice. I mean, by the end of that trial, you knew every one of those kids. You knew what they liked. You knew what their hopes and dreams were. You knew everything about the life that Tim Jones took from those kids. That was so emotional. He was such a storyteller. He knew how to weave it through. I've never seen anybody like him. So it takes a lot to impress me on opening statements and closing arguments, and I'll tell you, I was not blown away by either one. It was just pretty much, what I expected. It was pretty uneventful. Does anybody I just didn't find it. That was the saddest case I've ever seen. Yes, Alice, and he really, he did justice for those kids, really. He was, I don't know anybody that wasn't crying their eyes out. And when that Woody, remember the Woody started to speak? That was crazy. But yeah, so I'm a little bit of a tough cookie in that respect. Maybe somebody thought that Sarah Boone's first day was really great. There was no revelations for me. What about anybody else? Cranky Babishka, did you get any revelations in today's start of the trial? I didn't. I mean, first with the mics not working well, that was just simply aggravating. But it was not intentional. We played games. We did art. The pictures and everything of the apartment, we've all seen that stuff. Oh, you did not watch Sarah Boone? Yeah, I'm just wondering, Kevin, you watched it. Would you find anything really riveting today there? I didn't. I don't know. She should have taken the plea deal is what she should have done. That's just crazy that she didn't do that. I don't know. I just didn't find a lot there. Let's put it that way. All right, let me go and let's see. Okay. Okay, so let me get her graphic up here. Here we go. Sarah, smile. Okay. Put Sarah up there for a second. So prosecution delivered the opening statement first, of course. Assistant State Attorney William J. He laid out the state's view of what happened on the night that George Torres ended up inside that suitcase. He went through the dialogue. Now, I have the videos up. You've seen that. That's my name. Don't wear it out. F you, F you, F you. He did that. That was probably his most powerful moment. And he spoke about Sarah Boone's 911 call the next day. He said, you won't hear any tears. You won't hear sorrow. He made several comparisons in an attempt to simplify aspects of the trial to the jurors and compared experts that may be called to home inspectors and Carfax and determining a medical diagnosis to following a recipe in a cookbook. He said, and I quote, "You imagine it's a cookbook. It gives you a recipe for a diagnosis." He said the evidence will ultimately show that Boone did not kill Torres because she needed to for her own safety. And I quote, he said, "What the evidence is going to show is that the defendant killed Mr. Torres because she decided he deserved to, not because the evidence will show an objective of a reasonable person in the circumstances needed." Okay, and then we had James Owens, Sarah Boone's ninth lawyer, gave his opening statement, and he said, and I quote, "Sarah Boone and George Torres were down and out as you could be. Their lives centered around alcohol. Both of them suffered from what used to be called alcoholism, and now it's called alcohol abuse syndrome. And so, day to day, they struggled with the use of alcohol." He alleged that Torres abused Sarah Boone throughout their 3-year relationship and said, and I quote, "George Torres physically abused Sarah Boone, and she suffered from the effects, the psychological effects that one suffers from repeat violence from an intimate partner. When his level of intoxication gets to a certain level, when he gets sad, moody, and a lot of times eventually it involved forcible sex with Sarah Boone or actual physical violence." And he argued that the suitcase gave Sarah Boone an opportunity to have a captive audience. And he said, and I quote, "Physically they're the same size, but he's much stronger. If they got into a fist fight, he would win 100 times out of 100. But she's got him down, claims he can't get up. He has to sit and listen. It's a unique form of physical restraint, so she lets him have it. And she says things she shouldn't say." The prosecutors mentioned that she wanted him to die, the furthest from the truth. She loved him. She hated the abuse. She couldn't leave. She tried. She tried kicking him out 6 or 7 times. He kept coming back. She changed the locks. He kept coming back. She didn't have the family. She didn't have the support. She was weak, vulnerable, end quote. And so he paints her as weak and vulnerable, okay? Let's see here. And then, we had the neighbors talk about the banging they heard, the yelling, the fighting. They heard the 911 call. But like I said, it really wasn't anything for me that was blockbuster yet. I don't know who I would be waiting for to testify. Her, maybe. But then again, I think I've heard everything I have from her from those interrogations. I know a lot of people waiting for this trial, but I don't know. We'll see. All right, it's only the first day. Okay, let's see here now. Oh, the jury heard, let's see what we've got over here now. Witness testimony from George Torres' brother as well as Boone's ex-husband, who said the defendant called in before she called 911. We know all that, right? We've seen it. We've seen the body cam. We've heard his interview. Those of you that have been following this with me, and it's all on this channel. Let's see here. That's about the size of that. I mean, I don't have anything else for you on that. There's nothing really crazy, but I do want to tell you about a crazy case in New York now. Let me get this. This is a teacher paraprofessional. That's what they call teachers' aides now. They call them paraprofessionals. They have for several decades now. Just in case you don't know. She was 53, I believe, and she killed her 61-year-old sister. Hang on, let me get this. And this is up near Rochester, New York, upstate, towards Canada. Okay. Let me get this. So this is the victim. I can get that to go up there. I wonder if it'll go up there. Or maybe no. Let's see. I'm just trying to change the photo so we know we're on a different story. She, one second. Penny Bush is the name of the victim. She was pulled from the Genesee River. She had been missing, and then her body was pulled and she was identified. But we're going to talk about all of this. Hang on. Oh boy. Craziness, right? I mean, I did a little stuff looking around Facebook, and I saw the her daughter had like a plea out for her mother, you know, when they were looking for her. Okay. Now we're good. Okay, let's get this up there and let's just make this a little bit bigger. So that's the victim, Penny Bush. And her sister, Jamie Bush, is accused of killing her. So let's see what we can learn about this. So Jamie J. Bush, that's the sister that is charged with murder, okay? She's 53 years old. She was charged with 3 felonies, including second-degree murder in connection with the death of her sister, who you see pictured there. That's Penny Bush. Penny Bush, 62 years old. They both lived in the same town. Penny's remains were recovered from the Genesee River in Rush on Wednesday. Deputies were called on October 11th to perform a welfare check on Penny Bush, who they did not locate upon arriving at her home. Deputies noted a few things that were odd, out of the ordinary, and they called in the office's criminal investigation unit. Deputies did not locate an earlier report from the sheriff's office that noted that Penny Bush was last seen at her home in the village on October 6th. Over the next few days, deputies searched Penny Bush's home and her 8-acre property from the ground, and with the use of a drone. The investigation led deputies to the Genesee River in Rush, where members of the MCSO scuba team and Henrietta firefighters recovered Penny's body. She was positively identified by the Monroe County Medical Examiner's Office on Friday. Jamie Bush was charged with 3 felonies, 1 count of second-degree murder and 2 counts of tampering with physical evidence. She was arraigned in Mendon Town Court on Friday. She was remanded to the Monroe County Jail without bail. They have declined to disclose the cause of death or the motive as deputies continue to investigate the homicide. Investigators had established significant evidence and probable cause to arrest her sister, Jamie Bush, for the murder of Penny Bush. Deputies said that Penny Bush had not lived in the Honeoye Falls area for long. She was raised in Schenectady. That's up towards That's the complete other way of upstate New York. That's like Albany and beyond, Schenectady, okay? And spent time in Texas before she moved to Monroe County roughly a year ago. She had 2 sisters, including Jamie Bush, and 2 children. So this is all unfolding. I'm going to see a little bit more. Of what we can learn here. Let's see if we can find any, let me just see one thing over here, if we can find her on Facebook or something like that. Jamie, the one accused of murdering her sister. One moment here. I wonder if this is her. Trying to see. I'm trying just to see if this is, there's a profile here, and I'm wondering if this is her, because it is. It's pretty. All right, let me look for. I'm still here. I'm just doing a little search here for something before we can move on. See if there's any interesting that there's not any paraprofessional sister. So one moment, let me just try something over here. All right. Here's a, you can see the school district. Let me just see if there's a picture of Jamie over here. Unless they've removed her, I don't know. Let me see her. Paraprofessional. She's listed, but see if she might have. Oh, here she is. Just they just put her as faculty. Okay, let me get. Here's from the sheriff's office. It says on October 11th, Monroe County Sheriff's deputies responded to a residence on Ontario Street in the village of Honeoye Falls for a welfare check on a 62-year-old Penny Bush. Penny couldn't be located. Based on the preliminary investigation, deputies believed her disappearance was suspicious, and they involved the MCSO Criminal Investigation Section. An active search and investigation continued through the weekend using deputies, the drone team, K-9 units, and the fire department partners to conduct a grid search. of the missing woman's 8-acre property. Despite the extensive search, she was not located. Investigators continued their efforts to locate the missing woman over the next few days, and on October 14th, 3 days later, investigators developed information focusing the search to an area of the Genesee River in the town of Rush. Her body was located and recovered from the Genesee River. The Monroe County Medical Examiner started their investigation to positively identify the deceased victim. At the same time, investigators diligently continued to pursue leads in order to uncover the circumstances of Penny Bush's disappearance. On October 18th, 7 days later, the deceased person was positively identified as Penny Bush. Investigators established significant evidence and probable cause to arrest her sister, Jamie, for the murder of Penny Bush. I would like to thank the sharp deputies who determined this was more than just to check the welfare with an adult not home, said Sheriff Todd K. Baxter. The investigators' determination to find leads, locate the deceased in the river, and apprehend her sister for the murder is remarkable. So, let's see. What do you think was the motive for that, huh? I wonder. Money? I'm just trying to see if there's anything more, but no, I guess they're keeping it pretty tight under wraps as for a motive yet or anything like that. And even when I was looking for articles to see, sometimes you can get some comments that can just give you a little more insight to things. But I'm not seeing that. Let me see here. Oh, no, that's not what we want to do there. No wonder. Okay. What does this say about? Oh boy. That's not good. Get out of here. Okay, so yeah, crazy. I mean, I'm sure they're going to be releasing some more. Penny's sister has been arrested and charged in connection with the murder. Let's see what they say over here. If there's any, there might be comments on this over here on Instagram. Let me see. Not too many comments. Other than what's wrong with this world, her own sister, how awful. Yeah. Let me check one other thing to see if we have some comments on this one. No. Isn't that weird? There's just no comments on that. It was breaking news. I mean, it's like 9 hours ago it was breaking news. So a lot of people might even be in bed for the night, you know. I'm sure we'll learn more tomorrow. Okay. Let me get over here. Where the heck are you guys? Okay. So, hi Christine Micro, how are you? You think money or jealous over property? I wonder, yeah, could it be a guy? I don't know. Could it be, the sister, apparently this sister here, the one that was murdered, recently moved there. She had originally lived, on the other side of New York State, and then she lived in Texas, and I guess, I don't know, maybe did she move there because they had parents that passed away or something like that, and they were settling in a state. Maybe she moved into her parents' house. Maybe she inherited something. I don't know. Those are just pure speculation on my part. I don't know. I have no idea. But I'm just saying. Hi 61. How are you? You've been following the Carly Madison case. What's going on? That's a done deal. What have you been following in that? You mean you just started to rewatch it? What do you think there, Hi? You think what do you think of her? Hi, Linda, did you get home? Oh, you're just rewatching it? Okay. Gotcha. Alright, so what I've been doing is I've been going back, way back, dialing it way back. And you know how they're always saying that Gypsy had 3 Make-A-Wish trips to Disney? That's not true. That's not true. If you go back, it tells you exactly. There's 3 organizations. One was this organization about feeding tubes. Another, I'll share it with you. But there is a lot I've been finding out. Like, just you can get some. The whole Hobby Lobby, right? Very interesting on the Hobby Lobby. And I know I've spoken about it before, but I've seen lots more details. So we're going to go over, we're going to do some. You've been rewatching, reviewing alcohol, different older cases. Okay. Oh, a lot of different older cases. Oh my goodness, I need to have my glasses on. I thought you said you were reviewing some alcohol. And oh my gosh. Yeah, so we're going to go look at some of this, Christine Micro. And let's see what we can find out. Let's do a little diving into Miss Rose Blanchard. Okay, let's see if I left these up here so that make it real easy for me. I think I did. I hope so. I'm going to close out some windows, so just give me a second. And I'm going to, let's see, we're going to put a graphic up for Gypsy. Okay, this is from an older article. This was literally June 17th, okay? So what they said was a Chack Bay native who had long claimed severe physical and mental disabilities is accused of helping her boyfriend stab her mother to death. Now see, this is what it said. You know what? Don't come for me. I am going through old news articles. This is how you do research. So don't come for me, Gypsy. A Chack Bay native who had long claimed severe physical and mental disabilities is accused of helping her boyfriend stab her mother to death in Missouri, Greene County authorities said. Gypsy Rose Blanchard, 23, of Springfield, Missouri, and Nicholas Paul Godejohn, 26, of Big Bend, Wisconsin, are charged with first-degree murder and armed criminal action in the slaying of Claudinia Dee Blanchard, 48 years old, said the Greene County Prosecuting Attorney's Office. Dee Blanchard told the Courier and the Daily Comment in 2001 that Gypsy was vision and hearing impaired, couldn't walk, used a feeding tube, and had brain damage from seizures. But Gypsy's health was misrepresented, said Greene County Sheriff Jim Arnott in a news conference Tuesday. She can walk without assistance or a wheelchair, and she can do that very well. Okay. Hancock, that's the guy that was the investigator that conducted her interrogation, said Gypsy confessed to being in the home when Godejohn killed her mother and said she knew what was going to happen but didn't try to stop it or report the incident. She also admitted to writing one of two posts about the woman's death, sent Sunday from a Facebook account the women shared. The detective said Godejohn told him he killed Dee because Gypsy asked him. The couple mailed the knife to Godejohn's home address, left in a taxi after taking several thousands of dollars from his safe in Dee's bedroom. Let's see here. It says the sheriff's spokesperson, Kathy Ussery, said the sheriff's office has the woman's last name on file as Blanchard, but that they may have added the E after moving from Chack Bay. Gypsy has also given 3 different birth dates. Dee told the Courier and the Daily Comment back in 2001 that her daughter often stayed at Children's Hospital and the Ronald McDonald House in New Orleans. Gypsy spent the weekend with the cast of Xena Warrior Princess and Hercules, the legendary journeys, during a fan convention, and served as an honorary queen for the crew of Mid-City Parade in New Orleans. Local donation drives were also in progress. The Blanchards received a home from Habitat for Humanity after moving to Missouri and claiming to be victims of Hurricane Katrina. Prosecuting attorney's office said both suspects are in custody, awaiting extradition to Missouri. If convicted, they'll face life in prison or the death penalty. Well, that was right for one of them, right? Not right for the other. Hang on, there's more. Okay, this is the one I think that I want to look at. Okay, this is about their arrest at the Home Depot. Not the Home Depot, the Hobby Lobby. Claudinia and Gypsy Blanchards, because they still had the E at this time, first encounter with law enforcement came 3 years ago, and this was also written June 18th, 2015, so in 2012. Okay, they stole $20 worth of craft supplies. They were discovered hidden in Gypsy's wheelchair. Though the incident was minor, a municipal violation of stealing, it and other cases appear to reinforce Greene County Sheriff Jim Arnott's narrative of a family veiled by fraud. They're not saying Munchausen's, they're saying fraud. According to a police report, the manager of the Hobby Lobby store on 1717 West Kearny Street called the police in February of 2012 when he had detained the Blanchards, who were suspected of stealing. The report identifies only Claudinia Blanchard by name, but says she was with her daughter, who was confined to a wheelchair due to paralysis from the waist down, according to Claudinia. Hold on. Claudinia Blanchard also went by the name Dee Dee. The report says the manager, Robert Benedict, told police the Blanchards had been shopping and were heading to the exit after their purchase when the sensors went off. The manager checked their bags. Everything in the bags checked out, but then Benedict said he saw a black feather between Gypsy's leg and the wheelchair. Robert stated he inspected the wheelchair again and he was able to observe 2 packages of sticker, a border, stamp pads, and 2 pieces of unfinished wood, which were partially underneath Gypsy's legs in the seated position of the wheelchair. Benedict said he collected the property and escorted the women to an office. The items they stole, the items were worth $21.53, according to the report. Claudinia told police she and Gypsy had just returned from Disneyland, I think they mean Disney World, and wanted to make a scrapbook. She said they had multiple piles of items to determine what they wanted to buy. Claudinia stated she never left Gypsy alone inside the store and had remained with her, pushing her in the wheelchair the entire time they were there. Claudinia stated they did not come there with the intention of stealing and had simply forgot to return the items to the shelf that they did not purchase. Claudinia stated she told Robert to search the chair, and if they were trying to steal, she would have never given him permission to do so. Official records of fraud aren't abundant, but investigators, both professionals and those gawking on the internet, are trying to uncover deceit. It's unclear to what extent Dee Dee Blanchard misled Habitat for Humanity officials, but the home certainly didn't need a ramp, as Gypsy's need for a wheelchair was fabricated. See, lots back then, right? Lots back then. Gypsy wasn't getting the fanfare that she's been given now, right? The truth behind Gypsy's list of medical conditions is also shrouded, for now. But fundraising websites show the family was somewhat active in raising money for trips. Few, if any, sites remain active, but remnants can be found online, including an earlier version of the page GypsyRoseTrip.com, which had a Donate Now button. The site said the pair had raised 50% of their goal. The total goal is not listed. GypsyRoseTrip.com. Interesting. Text on the site says Gypsy Rose is a sweetheart with multiple medical problems. The Oli Foundation in Saratoga, New York is a medical conference specializing in giving patients the latest information and research findings with others who have similar medical issues. The Oli Foundation's website has a page for their 2007 award winners, which said Gypsy was the Oli Foundation Child of the Year. Records show Dee Dee used multiple spellings of both her first and last name, and officials say Gypsy's true age has been unclear. Then Bobby Petrie makes an appearance. A family member, Bobby Petrie, says he believes Dee Dee changed her daughter's birth record several times for monetary gain. While websites are continually being disabled, Arnott has warned people not to donate to the family. Okay, let's try that. What was that? GypsyRoseTrip.com. Let's see what we can find there. We can find anything in the Wayback Machine or something like that. Nope. Let's try the Wayback Machine. It says it's been saved 22 times. Let's see if I can go back to July 4th of 2013. How about you show us what it looked like then, huh? Okay, so what it says here is it says that, okay, here's what they say on this page. In the Gypsy Rose, quick bio, sponsorship, contact us. We want to hear from you. If you have any questions or concern, let us know. We welcome any uplifting comments and encouragement to be passed on to Gypsy. Then it says, hello, welcome back. Clicked your link so far, signed up to share with friends. Then it says the Gypsy Rose trip, Princess, Gypsy, Gypsy Rose, quick bio, sponsorship, and then it says Gypsy Rose is a sweetheart with multiple medical problems. The Ole Foundation in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Now see, before they just said that the Ole Foundation was in Saratoga. Is a medical conference specializing in giving patients the latest information and research findings with others who have similar medical issues. Doctors come from all over the world to share their helpful advice and knowledge. Gypsy and Dee Dee can truly benefit from the experience while attending the Ole educational seminars. One other benefit to attending the conference is to have a one-on-one consultation that will help improve Gypsy's way of life. Since this is an extremely specialized conference, sponsorships are needed to attend. If you are able to help sponsor Gypsy, please fill out this form. Yeah, and then I guess they just had to go to whale watching too while they were there, right? All who help sponsor Gypsy will have a chance to win an autographed CD signed by Miranda Lambert. Okay, now there's several links here. I'm going to try to click on them and see if I can get anywhere. That's not going to let me see anything. What about this sponsorship? Nope. Okay, what about... There was a Facebook page. Let me see here. Oh, there is. Hold on a moment. This is a good one. Okay, here, let me pull this over. Gypsy's Trip Community, February 18th. Snuggled with my sweet mama and my furry kitties, watching Princess and the Frog. It's too snowy, cold, and hurty, but mama gave me my meds, so we are resting. Love y'all, our dear friends. Then it says, almost forgot to tell you guys, Andrew loves the postcard you sent. He's been carrying it around for over a week now. January 23rd. Please share. We are trying to fundraise to get to the Ole Foundation Medical Conference. Any donations are greatly appreciated. Thank y'all so much. Click here to support Gypsy's medical trip by Dee and Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Gypsy Rose is a sweetheart. Now here again it says the Ole Foundation, this time in Saratoga, New York. And the other thing they have what was it, Cape Cod they said? Okay. Here's December 24th, 2014. 2014. Merry Christmas and a blessed New Year. Sending love and hugs to y'all. Isn't this funny? They put this picture of her. If this is 2014, this is 2015. This was months before the murder, and this is the picture they put of Gypsy Rose. She didn't look like that. Not that young. Oh my gosh. And you know why they're saying about the medical conference, but they're not saying about the whale watching, right? That they're going to go to and do stuff up there. August 22nd, 2014. Jip and sweet Dr. Beckerman. He is so special to us. He takes such wonderful care of Jip. He always brights our day. Aw, sweeties, hugs and kisses to you and Mommy from Hector and I. Okay, June 12th, 2014, a year before the murders. Hey friends, we're starting to fundraise. Oh gosh, look at this. For the June 2015. No, Dee Dee, you're going to be dead by then. Oli Conference in Saratoga Springs, New York. We appreciate all your help for the 2013 conference. We have learned a lot of wonderful, helpful information. Oh, so they were going to try to attend this conference again, but this time in Saratoga. What are they going to do up there, right? That didn't happen because Gypsy had her mother killed. Helpful information that will help Gypsy, and we met two very knowledgeable doctors, and we hope to attend this important conference June of 2015. Any assistance would be greatly appreciated. Thank y'all so much. Love, Dee and Gyps. Gyps, after surgery, feel better soon, my sweet baby. My sweet little Gyp, I love her so much. Congratulations to our winners of the Miranda Lambert autograph CDs, and the winners are, drumroll, Rachel Miller and Marcia Smith. We will be sending your CDs soon, and thanks to all whom supported Gyps. God bless y'all. Best welcome homecoming ever. Thank you, Miss Kimmy and Mr. Duncan. We are still tired. More details and pictures to come. Great big hugs. Learning lots of wonderful new information and meeting great doctors and getting updates on the latest medical findings and meeting friends. Congratulations to my sweet baby on winning her 3 medals. You are always a winner to me. I love you. What was that? Was she in the Special Olympics? What was she in? Packing. I hope I didn't forget anything. I'm already tired, but no complaints, just hope. June 19, 2013, 2 years before. Getting latest medical records from pediatrician in Kansas City doctors to bring 5 days. Countdown beginning 6 days. Gypsy is thinking about bringing her wonderful Mandalorian armor to Cape Cod. There will be a talent show contest, and she loves her armor. Well, that's where she got it. We will soon be picking a winner. Who will the lucky person be? Good luck to all. Dr. Lapichon increased meds to try and keep seizures under control, and Gyp was so brave for her blood work today. I'm so proud of you, my sweetie. Feeling better. Rough. Look at that. Look at this spelling is atrocious. Okay. How about getting Gypsy and some education? Okay. Rough night last night. Gyp's pain would not go away, even with big pain meds, so I stayed up and rubbed her back and cried with her. I love her. I would gladly take her place. Good news is it will get better. We made our first payment on our room reservation. So glad we called today. We got the last room. Thank you all so much for helping. Oh my goodness. Okay, so that's that Gypsy Rose trip. At times, Gypsy has a lot of challenging moments, but overcoming these fleeting moments makes her stronger and makes the good times even more precious. She's so precious. All right, let's see what else we have here. Okay. Miranda Lambert. Let's see what we can find about Miranda Lambert. Meeting Miss Gypsy, right? Okay. Miranda Lambert. All right, let me go back. I don't want to look at something from 5 days ago. I want only. Oopsie. Okay, so let me do. All right, here we go. Let's see what we've got. Okay, let's see this now. So I was talking about Claudinia. She was born and raised in Chack Bay, Louisiana. Had her daughter Gypsy at 24 with her then 17-year-old boyfriend Rod Blanchard. After moving to Missouri, she started collecting several charitable donations on her daughter's behalf, which resulted in free flights to doctors in Kansas City, free trips to Walt Disney World, backstage passes to see Miranda Lambert, and several other gifts via the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Okay, but there's another. Let me get this other thing. Hang on. Gypsy Rose, this is your life. Okay, so. Oh, is this the one? Let me see. Okay, so the Ollie's Foundation's website has a page for 2007 award winners, which said Gypsy was the Ollie Foundation Child of the Year. Records show Dee Dee used multiple spellings, right? Remember we did that. She's the Ollie. We did that. So she was the Ollie back in 2007. 2013, she's still going to their conferences, right? And hang on, because I know that I have something about where they were talking then, and they were scammers. That says about the 3 different times they went to, okay, let's see here. All right, let's try this again. All right, so let's go. All right, here we go. Disney's Tool of Shame. So I know I saw this. I went through this one. Let me go through this. Okay. That can't be at that time. Gypsy. Okay, let's see. Tabloids. No. There was this one that I saw earlier, and it said, because it said her trips to Disney. One was a feeding tube. Okay, let me do this. Okay, let's do fraud here. Let's do... Okay, I think now I've got something. Hang on. Where did I... Never been then. Try that. Gypsy Rose. Let me fix something over here. This is maybe too much. Let's do I wonder why. Oh, I think I know why. There we go. Okay, let's look at this now. Gypsy was supposed to have muscular dystrophy and leukemia, among other ailments. Hold on a minute. I've got to answer a quick question here to be able to read this. Oh, but forget it. I'm not going to even bother with you. Oh, get that. Get out of here. Okay, let's go back here. Oh, that's when they did her plea deal. Gypsy Blanchard will have to serve 8.5 years before she's eligible for release. She has already spent a year in the Greene County Jail. Stanfield has said his client's health has improved in the year that she has been in jail and not in her mother's care. Please, Stanfield. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Gypsy Blanchard is charged with convincing boyfriend Nicholas Godejohn to stab her mother to death inside that donated home. In a newly released search warrant, friends told police that in addition to the Facebook page she shared with her mother, Gypsy Blanchard, it still was Blanchard, used Facebook aliases like Emma Rose and Devona Wolf, which she said liked pictures of sadomasochism, and over the last 6 months wrote that she was engaged and wanted to name her future son Nicholas P. Godejohn Jr. Godejohn's family said they met the couple online and said the couple met online and ultimately social media did them in as police tracked them to Wisconsin. Police said the couple mailed the murder weapon to Godejohn's Big Bend home. Let's see what this is. Gypsy Blanchard waives extradition to go back to Missouri. The Missouri woman accused of killing her mother with her Waukesha County boyfriend appeared in court Friday. An extradition hearing was held Friday for Gypsy Rose Blanchard, still had the E. Investigators say that she and Nicholas Godejohn of Big Bend stabbed, this is what it said, stabbed Gypsy Blanchard's mother, Dee Dee Blanchard, multiple times last weekend, and then they took a bus to his Wisconsin home. Gypsy Blanchard waived extradition, allowing her to be sent back to Missouri. When asked, she said she understood she was facing 2 charges, murder and armed criminal action. All right. Aaliyah Woodmansey grew up with Gypsy Rose Blanchard. She's dumbstruck by this week's revelations that the sickly girl she thought was wheelchair-bound is now accused of orchestrating her mother's murder. I thought I knew these people so well, and come to find out I have no idea who they are. To see her walking, it's kind of painful because I really thought I was really close to them. Prosecutors charged Gypsy Blanchard and Nicholas Godejohn of Waukesha County with killing Dee Dee Blanchard, then posting profane comments about the murder on Facebook. Woodmansey said she and Gypsy Blanchard secretly communicated on Facebook. Her mom was very set on Gypsy having the mentality of a 7-year-old and didn't appreciate me talking to Gypsy like someone my age, Woodmansey said. Okay, let's see. A woman charged with arranging the death of her mother before fleeing with her boyfriend to Wisconsin pled not guilty Monday during her first court appearance in Missouri. Gypsy Blanchard, 23, entered the plea during a brief hearing in Greene County Court. She's charged with first-degree murder and armed criminal action in the June 14th stabbing of her mother, 48-year-old Claudinia Dee Dee Blanchard, at their home near Springfield. Blanchard didn't speak during the hearing other than to whisper to her attorney. Prosecutors allege Gypsy Blanchard persuaded her boyfriend Nicholas Godejohn to kill her mother. The couple then allegedly stole money from the house and fled to Godejohn's hometown in Big Bend, Wisconsin, where they were arrested on June 16th. Authorities have said the Blanchards claimed to be Hurricane Katrina survivors and pretended that Gypsy was disabled so that they could collect charitable donations. Gypsy Blanchard's lawyer, public defender Michael Stanfield, suggested during Monday's hearing that his defense would include evidence about her difficult home life. And he said, and I quote, "At this point, I would just like to thank the police, the media, and all the citizens who have helped to so quickly uncover the scope of what Dee Dee was involved in. We are still trying to understand exactly how large the activities were that Dee Dee was involved in." Blanchard is being held in the Greene County Jail on $1 million bond. Godejohn is also charged with first-degree murder and is jailed in Wisconsin, awaiting extradition. Stanfield told Judge Ron Carrier that he will ask to have Blanchard's case be severed from Godejohn. Greene County Prosecutor Dan Patterson said he wants the 2 cases to be tried together. A hearing on that question is scheduled for July 20th. Okay, back. Let's see what else we have. Okay, we have this one. Missouri woman accused with her boyfriend of killing her mother may have faked her need for a wheelchair and pretended to be a Hurricane Katrina victim so that she and her mother could collect donations, a sheriff said on Tuesday. Authorities now say the daughter and mother may have duped their community and that Gypsy Blanchard and her boyfriend pillaged several thousands of dollars in possibly ill-gotten gains from the victim's safe after the killing. Greene County prosecutors charged the daughter and Nicholas Godejohn of Big Bend, Wisconsin on Tuesday with first-degree murder and armed criminal action in the killing of Dee Dee Blanchard, 48. Let's see. Greene County Sheriff Jim Arnott urged people not to give any more donations to the family, noting things are not always as they appear. Blanchard can walk without assistance or a wheelchair, and she can do that very well, he told reporters. Investigators were also looking into whether the appearance of a long financial fraud scheme by the Blanchards included claims that they were Hurricane Katrina victims displaced by a 2005 disaster. Habitat for Humanity provided the mother and daughter with a home in Springfield, complete with a wheelchair ramp, in 2007. Even Gypsy's real age is unclear. A probable cause statement lists 3 different birth dates for her, and her age ranges from 19 to 23. We really don't know the true background of this family, Arnott said. This is a tragic, tragic event, surrounded by mystery and public deception. It was not clear whether Blanchard or Godejohn have attorneys who could comment on the allegations. Their bonds were set at $1 million apiece. According to the probable cause statement, Godejohn admitted that he traveled to the southwest Missouri city and killed Dee Dee Blanchard at the request of her daughter, who supplied the knife and hid in the bathroom while he repeatedly stabbed the victim in the back. Lead investigator Stanley Hancock wrote in the court document that Gypsy Blanchard admitted she was in the house when her mother was being stabbed and she could hear her screaming. Gypsy also admitted that she wrote everything about the killing on Facebook page she and her mom shared in an expletive-laden post that prompted friends to contact the police, leading to her mother's body being found. Authorities say the murder happened at some point last week. Arnott said Blanchard and Godejohn lingered around Springfield for a day or two after the murder, with surveillance video at various businesses showing Blanchard walking unimpeded, at times carrying her own luggage and wearing disguises. The two ultimately made their way to Wisconsin by bus, Arnott said. Okay, let's see here. Okay, this is from 2015 about the cab driver that picked them up, okay? This was the headline on Fox 6, Milwaukee. She had, and I quote, this is a quote, "She had a wig on, cab driver, picked up couple after alleged murder of woman's mom." Missouri 23-year-old Gypsy Blanchard of Springfield and her boyfriend, 26-year-old Nicholas Godejohn of Big Bend, are facing charges. They're accused in the death of Blanchard's mother, Dee Dee. They were charged jointly on Tuesday, June 16th, with the murder in the first degree and armed criminal action. And now we're hearing from the cab driver who picked the two up just after police say they stabbed Dee Dee Blanchard to death. And this is a quote from the cab driver, John Horn. "I just kind of glance up and I see a guy and a girl walking towards the cab, and I noticed the girl was wearing a black skirt, a white shirt with stripes on it, and carrying a bag. I believe she had a wig on." According to the criminal complaint, on June 14th, officials were called to the home in Missouri to check on the well-being of Claudinia Blanchard and her daughter Gypsy Blanchard. This after concerned friends found a strange Facebook update from the mother and daughter's shared account. During the search of the residence, authorities found Claudinia face down on her bed with multiple stab wounds to her back area. Authorities say Gypsy was not located at the residence. According to the complaint, officials were able to trace the Facebook post to a location registered to Nicholas Godejohn in Big Bend, and shortly before 3 a.m., the Greene County Sheriff's Office in Missouri requested a welfare check at the address in Big Bend. When the Waukesha County deputies arrived on the scene, they located Gypsy and Nicholas Godejohn, and after a brief standoff, they were detained. Gypsy and Nicholas are accused of mailing the murder weapon to Wisconsin and then boarding a bus bound for Big Bend. According to the criminal complaint, Godejohn admitted to stabbing Claudinia several times in the back. Godejohn told investigators he knew what he had done was wrong, but he did it for Gypsy because she asked him to. Asked him to stab her mother to death so they could be together, said Waukesha County Prosecutor Kevin Osborne. The complaint indicates that Gypsy was at the home at the time of the killing and even helped clean up the blood. Prosecutors say Gypsy admitted to making the Facebook post. Gypsy allegedly posted the comment because she wanted her mother found quicker by law enforcement officials. Following the stabbing, they took several $1,000s from a safe inside of Claudinia's bedroom and left the home in the cab. They weren't acting anything out of the ordinary, acting like a normal pickup, Horn said. Horn said Gypsy Rose walked to his cab. She did not use a wheelchair. Her voice was one of them you can't forget. It's kind of like a cartoon voice, real high-pitched. He didn't talk too much. I had the radio on. I don't listen to what people say. I had no idea what they had done. The cab ride ended at the Days Inn Motel. Horn said the fare was $10 and Blanchard gave him a $20 and the two were gone. She walked fine. She didn't act sick or nothing, Horn said. Police say friends and family members believed Gypsy Blanchard was sick and needed to use a wheelchair to get around. Authorities now believe Blanchard and her mother may have been involved in a financial fraud scheme. We have uncovered the appearance of a long financial fraud scheme along with this tragic event, said the Greene County Sheriff Jim Arnott. Details are emerging that Gypsy and her mother may have led a secret life. In previous news reports, Gypsy was reported to suffer from muscular dystrophy and leukemia, used a wheelchair, and in an interview about their new Habitat for Humanity house in 2008, after she and her mother moved to Missouri from Louisiana after Hurricane Katrina, her age was listed as 12. Greene County Sheriff Jim Arnott says there are many questions about the Blanchards' background, including possible financial fraud and doubt that they were Hurricane Katrina victims as they had previously claimed. Investigators are looking into the many twisted details, as the sheriff calls them, in this case. Let's see. It's been reported during this investigation and has revealed Gypsy Blanchard, who reportedly always used a wheelchair, didn't take one from Missouri to Big Bend, and she can apparently walk just fine. Gypsy was not using a wheelchair when she appeared in court in Waukesha County on Tuesday. We really don't know the true background of this family, said the sheriff. Okay, let's see what else we got. Okay, here's something from June 18th of 2015. A murder investigation is unfolding in Springfield, Missouri, and it has roots in Galliano, a small bayou town an hour outside of New Orleans. Claudinia Didi Blanchard and a former Galliano resident were stabbed to death. A former stabbed to death in her Springfield home. When her daughter Gypsy was located with a boyfriend in Wisconsin, they were arrested and charged with her mother's brutal murder. As the complicated investigation unfolds, here's what has been uncovered. An allegation that Claudinia imprisoned the daughter and forced her to act like she was disabled, shaving her head and making her use a wheelchair. A charge that Gypsy instructed her boyfriend Nicholas Godijon, 26, to kill her mother, and then they stole several $1,000s from a safe in Dee Dee's bedroom and fled to Wisconsin where Godijon lives. That Dee Dee and Gypsy moved to a Habitat for Humanity home built just north of Springfield in 2008, claiming that their home in Louisiana was destroyed during Hurricane Katrina, although authorities think that was part of a financial scheme. Bizarre Facebook post, a vulgar Facebook post on Sunday on an account that was shared by Dee Dee and her daughter Gypsy, alerted friends that something might be wrong. The poster claimed responsibility for killing Dee Dee and prompted friends of the two to go to their Springfield home to check on her welfare. When no one answered at the door, a neighbor entered the home through a window, but the police were there at that time, so that's where that comes in. The neighbor did not find anyone inside, but called authorities to investigate. After the Greene County Sheriff's Office obtained a search warrant, deputies entered the residence and found Dee Dee stabbed to death. Kim Blanchard, a close friend of the Blanchards, who is not related, was among the friends who went to check on the family Sunday afternoon. Blanchard said she thought that something was off when she saw that Facebook post, but initially she thought the account had been hacked. There were so many unknowns, and then this morning to have the information about Dee Dee that was coming out was devastating. It is just the worst heartbreak that you can think of. Blanchard said Dee Dee was one of the most giving people she knew. That attitude may have come from the woman's experiences during Hurricane Katrina. It may have been part of Katrina, or it may have been just part of her, but she gave everything. Kimberly Blanchard said she gave of herself, she gave of her stuff. But Greene County Sheriff Jim Arnott said things are not always as they appear. Dee Dee's daughter Gypsy and her boyfriend Nicholas Godijon of Big Bend, Wisconsin were charged Tuesday with first-degree murder in the death of Dee Dee Blanchard. The pair is now in custody in Wisconsin and will soon be extradited to Missouri. According to the sheriff, the bonds have been set at $1 million. Gypsy's boyfriend Nicholas P. Godijon came down to Greene County from Wisconsin and stabbed Dee Dee to death last week at Gypsy's request, authorities say. Friends and neighbors believe Gypsy was disabled and confined to a wheelchair, but investigators say she traveled back to Wisconsin with Godijon, where she was captured walking on her own 2 feet on surveillance video at several businesses after her mother was murdered. Gypsy and Godijon took several $1,000s from Dee Dee's safe before fleeing to Wisconsin. Arnott said detectives have been shocked as this case has progressed, and they learned more about this and what was happening with the mother and daughter, who are not connected to the rest of the family in Louisiana. Bobby Petrie, Gypsy's cousin, said Dee Dee's nephew said that Gypsy's anger toward her mother may have been building for years. He said Dee Dee imprisoned the daughter and forced her to act like she was disabled. She told people the little girl had muscular dystrophy, forced her to take seizure medication that made her teeth fall out, and even shaved her head so it looked like she had leukemia. It was basically all a fraud, Petrie said. I was so disgusted with the woman. Could not believe what she was doing. Petrie said there were incidences when Gypsy would get out of her wheelchair and push other children around. He said Gypsy once got up and started jumping on a trampoline, only to collapse when Dee Dee came outside and saw her. Let's see here. Petrie lives in La Rose, Louisiana, and when family members started confronting Dee Dee about the treatment of Gypsy, the mother stopped communicating with the family, and it says he has not spoken with Dee Dee or Gypsy for the past 15 years. Dee Dee would keep her as close as she possibly could. I think that's how Dee Dee wanted it. I don't think she ever wanted her to leave. Petrie said he's heard from other relatives that Gypsy tried to run away from Dee Dee a few different occasions over the years. And when Petrie got the news on Tuesday that Dee Dee was dead and Gypsy had been charged, he said he was surprised, but only to a certain degree. And I quote, he said, "It's a shocker for sure, but at the same time, I feel like it was a ticking time bomb." Dee Dee and Gypsy told people they moved to a Habitat for Humanity built home just north of Springfield in 2008 after their home in Louisiana was destroyed during Hurricane Katrina, but Arnott says the mother and daughter were involved in a financial scheme. Petrie said he was not sure whether the mother and daughter lost their home in Katrina. Arnott said the mother and daughter received financial donations under false pretenses, and authorities do not even know Gypsy's true age, only that it is somewhere between 19 and 23. There were, here's some more stuff. There were 2 outstanding warrants issued by the La Fourche Parish Sheriff's Office from 1997 and 1999 to Dee Dee for issuing worthless checks. Because it was so long ago, the record did not include determiners such as a social security number or date of birth to confirm the identity. According to the public records, hold on a second, get out of here. Oh my gosh. Hold on, I just got a stupid thing when I was reading that. Let me see if we still got, where's our peeps? Let's see. Do you guys, where are you? Trying to get back to the chat for a minute so I can see if you guys are saying anything or if you want to keep going through some of this. Let me see. Let me go over here. Okay, yeah, it's going to be a mind blower if it's Ryan's. I don't think it's Ryan's. I don't think it is. There was something about a check for $5,000 Miranda Center. Probably for that trip. Right? You're all here. Okay. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure because when you get those stupid fake virus things, that's what came up. And Gypsy's attacking my computer. All right, hang on a minute. Okay, let's see what this is. Arnett said it could not be confirmed that they were victims of Hurricane Katrina. It's a very twisted story to sort out what is true and what's not. And as far as motives and how this all links back, Arnett said, we just know there's a lot of deception. He declined to comment on any motive for the killing, saying that it will come out when the case goes to trial. So they were so upset about that plea deal. In a bond recommendation document, prosecutors call the killing a planned and deliberate murder. Godejohn told authorities he asked Gypsy if she was sure she wanted him to kill Dee Dee, and she told him yes. This is from 2015. The probable cause statement said Godejohn said Gypsy was hiding in the bathroom when he killed Dee Dee. Godejohn told authorities he mailed the knife he used to stab Dee Dee to his residence in Wisconsin after the act, so he would not get caught with it. Arnott cautioned people against donating any money to the family in the coming weeks until investigators can sort out the extent of the alleged fraud. That is what is tough about living in Springfield, Missouri, is we are a giving community. We surround people with love and finances that we believe that need it. However, a lot of times we're deceived, and I think this just might be the case. Larry Peterson, executive director of Habitat for Humanity of Springfield, said he was shocked by Tuesday's news. And I quote him saying, "The main thing is we are just really deeply saddened by the whole situation that we're all learning about. Right now, we continue to offer our thoughts and prayers to to our homeowners and residences of the Habitat community. Peterson said he stands by Habitat for Humanity's selection process, and it appears as though the Blanchards met the criteria. He said that it's too early to speculate if Habitat had been duped by the family. Neighbors described Dee Dee as a friendly and caring woman. More than 60 people attended a vigil for Dee Dee on Monday evening in the square in downtown Springfield. Gypsy and Godejohn were also charged on Tuesday with felony armed criminal action. Hold on, I just got to get a timeline here. Okay. She had a wig on, we got to that. Let me see this one. Okay. No, that's not the, let me see, not the one. Not that one either. Let's see. Gypsy pleads guilty. Let's see what we have. Okay. Has been revealed that Nicholas met Gypsy through the website Christian Dating for Free. Okay. She pleads not guilty. Reveal a reversal of fortune. Let's see what this is. Okay, so there was a big article in the Daily Courier and Daily Comment in 2001 that Claudinia gave. They gave a lot of information that is constantly passed along, right? It says Claudinia, Blanchard, and Gypsy moved to Missouri in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. Everyone they came into contact with was misled by the extent of Gypsy's purported medical ailments. Dee Dee was able to secure housing and solicited funds from private and charitable sources. Okay, to meet their living expenses. As Gypsy reached adulthood, she appeared to play the role of an invalid so carefully crafted by her mother. Let's see. Okay, that's not really what I'm looking for there. Grizzly has Louisiana roots. I think we were over there. Okay. No, we went through that one completely. Okay, let me see here. We got something here maybe. Because there was one, it was just, I wanted to list the different organizations that sponsored them for Disney. And one was the Feeding Tube. This Feeding Tube organization. And let's see here. Nope. Oh, here's Miranda Lambert. Okay, here they went on charity trips to Disney World. They met Miranda Lambert through the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Looking back on it, Pinegar. Who is Pinegar? Hold on a minute. Dee Dee became particularly close with several people across the way. Oh, that's, yeah, Amanda's mother, right? Amy Pinegar and her 4 children. Over the years of tea and coffee, Dee Dee would tell Pinegar her life story. She was originally from a small town in Louisiana, and she had to flee her abusive family with Gypsy. It was her own father, Gypsy's grandfather, who'd been the last straw, she said. She said he burned Gypsy with cigarettes. So she got out of her hometown for good, she told her. She told Pinegar that Gypsy's father was a deadbeat, an alcoholic drug abuser who had mocked his daughter's disabilities, and he called the Special Olympics a freak show. As Pinegar understood it, he never sent them a dime, not even when Dee Dee and Gypsy had lost everything in Hurricane Katrina. It was a blessing that a doctor at a rescue shelter had helped them to get to the Ozarks. That's when they got that house, and then Habitat for Humanity built the ramp on it and changed things on the inside. Sometimes Amy Pinegar, listening, found herself overwhelmed, and she wondered, I wonder, keeping this child alive, is she that happy? All she could do was be a good neighbor and pitch in when she could. She'd drive Dee Dee and Gypsy to the airport for their medical trips to Kansas City. She'd bring them things from Sam's Club. Ultimately, they did seem happy. They went on charity trips to Disney World, met Miranda Lambert through the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Looking back on it, Pinegar was sometimes even jealous of them. It was a perfect story for a human interest segment on the evening news. Through tragedy and disaster, managing to build a life for themselves in spite of so many obstacles, but the story wasn't over. One day, last June, Dee Dee's Facebook account posted an update. The biatch is dead. Okay. And then I slashed that fat pig and Ard, her sweet, innocent daughter. Her scream was so effing loud, LOL. Again, then we know that whole thing. Okay, we're not going to go through everything there. Okay, here's what happened here. The search warrant didn't come through to 10:45 that night. The police found Dee Dee's body in the bedroom. She'd been stabbed and had been dead for several days. The next day, Kim organized a vigil and a GoFundMe account to take care of Dee Dee's funeral expenses and possibly Gypsy's. Everyone feared the worst. All her life, Gypsy had evoked protective responses in people. She was so small, looked so helpless. Many people couldn't understand why this happened to her. Who could prey on her with no defenses? Meanwhile, the police were sorting it all out. A young woman named Aaliyah Woodmansey had approached them. There were things she knew, things that might be helpful. For example, she told them that Gypsy had a secret online boyfriend. Uh-oh, Gypsy. Aaliyah, got you, right? She ratted you out. Aaliyah was Amy Pinegar's daughter, a 23-year-old who worked as a medical claims investigator. Oh my gosh, you were the same age. Tisk, tisk. Let's see. She started to text Aaliyah in a secret Facebook account under the name Emma Rose and said, "This is my personal account. My mom is still overprotective, so she don't know about this account." Then she confessed that she met a man on a Christian dating site, and she was in love with him. Gypsy hadn't told her mother, and she wrote that she knew that Dee Dee would not approve, that she wasn't allowed to date, though she longed to grow up and have a boyfriend like other girls her age. In the past, I told my mom something. I said I wished your mom was my mom instead of my mom because Mrs. Amy let Aaliyah date anyone she wanted, so that hurt my mom, Gypsy wrote. The new boyfriend's name, Gypsy revealed, was Nicholas Godejohn. They've been communicating for over 2 years. He didn't care that she was in a wheelchair, and Gypsy planned to marry him. They were both Catholic, and they had agreed on names for their children. She was cooking up an elaborate plan for Dee Dee to casually meet Nick at a local movie theater, after which Gypsy was hoping they could be open about their relationship. And this wasn't the first time Aaliyah had gotten clandestine messages from Gypsy about boys. She knew that Gypsy had tried to meet men online before, and that in spite of what Dee Dee said about Gypsy's 7-year-old mind, thoughts about romance and sex were taking root anyway. But she was concerned because Gypsy always seemed naive to her. In October, she wrote, "I'm 18 and Nick's 24, which made Godejohn 6 years older." Plus, the way she talked about the relationship was odd. It was like some kind of magnificent fairy tale was unfolding. She was worried, too, about Dee Dee, who confronted her in 2011 about her chats with Gypsy, telling her that she was corrupting a child. "I'm not going to tell your mother about the things you said," she told Aaliyah, "but I don't want you talking to Gypsy like that." Dee Dee took away Gypsy's phone and computer for a time. Gypsy always managed, nonetheless, to slip through some crack in her mother's attention, find some way of getting to Aaliyah, but the two saw less of each other. And after the messages about Nick in the fall of 2014, Aaliyah didn't hear from Gypsy again. Let's see here. Turns out Gypsy didn't use a wheelchair from the moment she left her house. She didn't need one. She could walk just fine. There was nothing wrong with her muscles. She had no medication or oxygen tank with her either. Her hair was short and spiky, but she wasn't bald. Her head had simply been shaved all her life to make her appear ill. She was well-spoken. If shaken by recent events, the disabled child she long been in the eyes of others was nowhere to be found. It was all a fraud. She told the police, all of it, every last bit. Her mother made her do it. Aaliyah said she just cried in disbelief about everything that had happened, overwhelming. Kim Blanchard cried too. At that point, it really became, I don't know anything about this person. What have I been believing? How could I be so stupid? Okay, let's see here. Rod Blanchard, Gypsy's father, still lives in the area in Cutoff, not far from Golden Meadow. Gypsy has his nose. Somebody put that. She really doesn't, because he doesn't have a nose that was like that. But they'd love to say that, to try to put that on, that it's her father. And they dated for 4 to 6 months. He was 17 to her 24 when she became pregnant. At the time, he thought the only logical thing to do was to marry her. He said, I woke up on my birthday, on my 18th birthday, realized I wasn't where I was supposed to be. I wasn't in love with her, really. I knew I got married for the wrong reasons. He left Dee Dee, and though she tried on more than one occasion to get him back, the marriage wouldn't stick. Gypsy was born shortly after the couple separated, July 27, 1991. Rod said Dee Dee liked the name Gypsy, and he was a Guns N' Roses fan. As far as he knows, neither of them knew about Gypsy Rose Lee, the 1920s vaudeville child turned stripper, whose early life was the basis for the Broadway musical Gypsy. That Gypsy had a controlling stage mother, too, one who lied about her daughter's age to make her seem younger, one who kept forcing her daughter to perform even though she didn't want to. Gypsy was healthy at birth, Rod said, but when she was 3 months old, Dee Dee became convinced that her baby had sleep apnea. Let's see. He said all this in the HBO. I mean, we've all heard this, right? All of us have heard this. This is just repeated verbatim all over the place. Then she said doctors couldn't find anything wrong, even though they had 3 rounds of tests and a sleep monitor. Okay, but here's where it comes. The conviction that Gypsy was a sickly child took hold. She explained the increasingly bewildering array of problems to Rod by saying Gypsy had a chromosomal defect. And many of Gypsy's health issues stemmed from that one thing. It all spiraled quickly. Okay. Rod eventually remarried and had 2 other children. He and his new wife, Christy, saw Gypsy often over the first 10 years of her life and can share pictures from various happy family outings. They remember going to the Special Olympics and have good memories of it. All smiles, Christy said. Meanwhile, Dee Dee's relationship with her own family got worse. She got in trouble with the law. She was writing bad checks. Dee Dee and Gypsy spent their years living in public housing, visiting doctors. 2005, Hurricane Katrina. Okay, the pair turned up at a special needs shelter in Covington, Louisiana. They had pictures of their old apartment in rubble. And she said all of Gypsy's medical records were destroyed. The first time Rod saw his daughter walk was in a news report on Gypsy's arraignment hearing. That's a lie. We know that, okay? When Gypsy's attorney showed them Dee Dee's autopsy report, Christy stared at it for a while. at the portion about Dee Dee's brain. The lawyer asked her why, and I quote, Christie said, I want to know what the hell was going through her mind. What is in the brain of hers that triggered all of this shite? End quote. Let's see. Christy Blanchard was gathering a lot of the news about her stepdaughter from Facebook. That's when she discovered that many thought she and Rod were in on Dee Dee's plans. Others thought Rod might have been a neglectful father who never supported his own daughter financially. They don't understand that I've always been supportive, he said, in every way. Let's see. They even said that Dee Dee had that money in her safe because Rod was paying child support. Okay. And then Christy said at first she tried to defend herself and Rod from these Facebook groups, but it turned out they were hard to convince. It was hell, and she withdrew from them all and asked friends and family to stop accepting new friend requests, which were pouring in. Neighbors in Springfield also had the same thing, and Amy Pinegar said it was like, forget you, the first attempt she made to correct online sleuths on their factual errors. The obsessiveness ended up piling confusion onto the already confusing situation. Okay, let's see. Okay. He said that at a hearing, hold on a minute. So who said this? Christy claimed, let me see, was it Christy? At a hearing I attended in September of 2015, 2 people from the largest Facebook group were there. After the hearing, they made a beeline for the local television crew and started talking to them. Gypsy's attorney saw them and tried to hurry out of the courtroom to confront them. Who were those people? He asked the television crew. What did they say? Let's see. Go to John. Okay, let's see here. She taught me a little lie. I don't want to lie. I just want to be a good, honest person. That's what Gypsy said. Oh my goodness. You do pretty good at the lying, Gypsy. Pretty good. Pretty good. That was basically the narrative of HBO, right? HBO saying that crap, a lot of it. Right. See, but there was, look at this one thing here. Oh yes, I think I found it. The one I was talking about before. Yay! Okay. Okay. The mother and daughter were recorded on video in 2008 when they received their Habitat for Humanity house. Gypsy said, and I quote, "We have an awesome bathtub. It's a jacuzzi tub for my muscles. And we have a wonderful ramp. It just proves that happy endings are not just in fairy tales. They're real and true in real life also." Okay, now here's the story in the New Orleans Times. Picayune, the Blanchards received a trip to Walt Disney World and Discovery Cove, Florida in 2003, courtesy of the Children's Wish Endowment. The Oli Foundation, which supports patients requiring home IV and tube feedings, named Gypsy Blanchard its 2007 Child of the Year. Dee Dee Blanchard told everyone she and her daughter were forced to relocate from their former home in Louisiana by Hurricane Katrina. All of Gypsy's medical records lost. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so it was the Oli Foundation, and then it said there was the Children's Wish Endowment, courtesy of the Children's. Well, let me check that Children's Wish Endowment if that's